Losing weight isn't about eating less. It's about pooping more. Hey there, kids, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank. I'm that you are having a great day. And in today's video, I'd like to sit back, relax, and have a little conversation with all of you about this little bad boy. This is Lightseekers, or the Lightseekers TCG. And it's got a little interesting gimmick to it, as well as a neat little story behind it. You see, Lightseekers is an out-of-print, it is a dead trading card game. It has not had a new set since 2019, I believe, for the physical release. It does, the digital card game is still alive, and we can talk about that in just a minute. But yeah, this is an interesting little card game. You see, Lightseekers is produced by Play Fusion, and if you don't know what Play Fusion is, it is a company, it's a gaming company. And I believe, if I recall correctly, it was either founded or co-founded by Mark Gerhardt, which is pretty interesting. If you don't know who Mark Gerhardt is, then you are not one of my 3 RuneScape fans, because he used to have a pretty big hand in Jagex, the company that produced RuneScape. But yeah, so 2017 rolls around, and we start getting these Lightseeker cards. And it's an interesting little game from the start because it's not a traditional trading card game. Instead, it is what some people would call a toy-to-life card game, where it's not just the physical cards, they are integrated with a digital property, the Lightseekers video games, or the Lightseeker video TCG game. Complicated stuff, I know. But yeah, the whole gimmick behind Lightseekers is that all of the cards in the game can be scanned onto the Lightseekers app and played digitally in addition to physically. They are not locked either way. You can play with either physical or digital cards if you wish. The preference is up to you. But I'll be the first to say that I just prefer to have physical cards rather than digital cards, just because if you can't hold it, you don't own it, right? Anyway, I picked this up not too long ago. There was a good deal for some sealed decks, and you guys know me, I love trying new things. So I picked them up, cracked one of them open, gave it a try with a buddy, played some games, tried to learn the rules, wrote down some notes, and I'm going to let you guys know what I think about it. So, first impressions. As I've said before on the channel, are the most important. And let me tell you guys, our first impressions of this game, myself and my friend who were trying it out, was that it looked an awful lot like Hearthstone. If Hearthstone had a Skylanders aesthetic to it. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing for your burgeoning trading card game, but yeah, the Hearthstone aesthetic it had this really digital look, this really polished, friendly look to all the cards. Nothing looked out of place. It all looked very by the books, by the numbers fantasy. It didn't really scream out to me as anything interesting. The other thing that I noticed is that on the back of the card back has a website link to lightseekers.com. Now, why does that matter? Because web domains are not eternal, and lightseekers.com, from what I can find, does not exist anymore. There is a different website now for Lightseekers as a property. That's right. There is a printed card game with card backs containing a link that no longer works. That was very funny to me. And that is a lesson on why you should not include things like that on your any physical media, really, just because web domains change all the time. The other 2 things that I noticed is that there is an app. You can scan your cards into your personal collection. The cards are fully scannable, integrated into the app. I didn't get far into the app because it wants to run you through like demo games or something, and I just did not have the patience for that. And the other thing that I noticed is that these are decks. Presumably these are introductory products And the most important part of an introductory product, in my opinion, is that they teach you how to play the game. That is best done with a rule book. Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks include rule books. Magic the Gathering decks, to the best of my knowledge, I'm pretty sure Commander decks still include like basic rules and tips. This does not have any rules in it. It doesn't even have like a link to the rules. It just tells you to go to the website to look for the official rules, and that website doesn't exist, or that website does not currently exist. There's a new website. Again, like I said, there is a website for it, but it is not the one that they tell you to go to. So that's pretty funny. Now then, as for the rules itself, it's actually a relatively simple game. In fact, if you were looking for an easy card game to get into, once you digest the rules, it's very easy to work with. There is a small deck, 35 or 36 cards, I believe, is the deck size you are working with. You have a hero card, and then you have a bunch of different kinds of action cards like attack, defend, etc. It's a very simple back and forth with multiplayer integration. There is rules for one-on-one and multiplayer built into the game itself. And you guys know how I feel about multiplayer rules out the get-go. I think they're pretty neat. But yeah, the game itself is very simple. A lot of the cards can seem confusing at first, but they all do a very simple thing. And once you understand, once you have the mechanics and the keywords explained to you, everything kind of works pretty well. There's attacking actions, which do damage to your opponent or facilitate some other kind of effect. There are buffs which stay on the board for a few turns, spinning. As they do, every turn you turn a buff card and get one of the new numbers to determine how much damage the effect does, or how many cards you draw in the effect, or something like that. I thought that was pretty neat. But yeah, actually getting to the rules kind of confusing. There is a comprehensive rules is what I found first, and I thought that was overwhelming. It took me a while to find just the basic rules. Maybe just because I'm bad at the internet. Another thing that I found was pretty confusing is that cards labeled defend are not what you'd expect. They're not like block cards in Flesh and Blood where you can use them to block an opponent's attack. No, it's just defend denotes that it's a card that you play on your turn. That was an interesting thing. Oh, I wrote down Nuke on my notes, and that's because the card I won the last game with was just called Nuke. It was a buff that stayed in play for 3 turns, and on the 4th turn, it blew up and did 17 damage to the opponent. I liked that a lot. Just a big splashy win game effect. Other things that I noted, enhanced, is that the core playmat design, in my opinion, is bad. I'm going to try to record some B-roll footage for you guys to look at it, but the playmat itself, it has the deck on the left-hand side of the player. And that seems super counterintuitive to me. I'm not a fan of that. I do not like that. Do not do that. Decks, I don't know what it is, but the cards belong on the right-hand side of a player. By God. Don't do left-handed cards. But yeah, it's a basic game. It's very easy to get into. The cards are easy enough to understand, and the back and forth gameplay is very simple. You start your turn with 2 actions. You can use those actions to either play 1 combo card or up to 2 other cards. And at the end of your turn, you draw a card if you played a combo, or for every unspent action you still have left, you draw a card. So you don't draw a card at the start of your turn, you burn through the cards you have, and once you're out of things to play, then you can start drawing more cards. I thought that was kind of neat, and it does prevent some turns from becoming a bit too explodey. The only other thing that I really thought was interesting is that while your hero does have only 1 color available to them, apparently the game has items and equipment that can give you access to more colors in your deck, which does allow for some pretty nifty customization. And of course your heroes have their own rules, their own effects as the game goes on, and their own life totals, like in Flesh and Blood. Different heroes have different maximum life. That's pretty neat too. But overall, what do I think about the game overall? I think that despite being easy to get into, the kind of generic feel of the fantasy of Lightseekers was definitely hampering its success. It didn't really appear to me to have any kind of core identity. And like I said before, our first impression of it was Hearthstone meets Skylanders. And that's not necessarily a good thing. I mean, neither of those are really shining beacons of success, in my opinion. Skylanders did last for a while, though. I will say that. The gimmick of tying your cards into a digital platform is not necessarily a bad thing, but it does raise questions of, you know, how long is digital support really going to stick around? Honestly, like, how long will that app be working? We were able to find it. I did, like I said, download the app and give it a try on the Apple device, but we were unable to find it on the Google Play Store. Maybe just because we were not looking right or anything. So maybe it's down on the Google Play Store. Who knows? But yeah, I'm not going to beat around the bush, okay? I'm not going to try to lie and say that this was a great card game and I had a lot of fun playing it. It's a very quick game. Once you get the back and forth vibe of it into your mind space, it's very easy to blow through an entire game in like 10 minutes. So I will say it's very easy to get into, very easy to blow through. Games don't take too long, and it's not really all that complicated. But I think there's a reason there was only 3 sets. And there were only 3 sets. There was Awakening, there was this set, Kindred, and then there was Mythical, I think was the other one. And it died in 2019, and that was it. And I think part of the reason it died is just because it didn't have a clear identity as a card game. It looked too much like a kind of generic TCG, and it did not really appear to be, while it wasn't very complicated, it also wasn't that engaging. None of the cards really, with the exception of the Blue Lightning deck, there was not a lot of back and forth action. It was a very much you stay in your own lane and play your own cards against your opponent kind of game. So as an introductory game that you give to kids or something, I think it's fine. But as like a competitive game you play with your friends or you try to have a tournament, I don't really see a lot of excitement in it. And it's not hard for me to see why other people might not be all that excited to play it. So I'm glad I gave it a try, but overall I would give this like a 5 out of 10. The art feels really generic, like mid-2000s fantasy, cranked up to 11. Like, you can even see it here on the box. Like, that's not like really standout art right there. But it is interesting for what it is. They did try an interesting gimmick with the digital and physical concepts. So I thought that at least was nice, but not nice enough to save it, obviously, because 3 sets only, and it died. So that's my opinions on Lightseekers. Lightseekers. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe. Oh, and leave a comment down below. Have I told you to leave a comment yet? You should leave a comment down below. That really helps the algorithm. Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.